This is the Wheatstone Broadcasting Corporation.
Scott Fybush here at the Wheatstone booth with Kent Hatfield, who is the VP of Technology at WXXI Public Broadcasting in my hometown, too, of Rochester, New York. Hi, Kent.
Hey, glad to be here.
I should say, in full disclosure, I work with Kent at WXXI
Yeah, full
also.
disclosure there.
And one of the things we've been doing there for a long time, and we were pretty early on in it, was integrating radio and TV through a VoIP network.
Yes.
Which is now in the process of getting some upgrades. What's going on back home?
We started out originally with the Wheatstone bridge system, and we've now expanded that to add Wheatstone Net, the WheatNet system. So allowing us more flexibility, giving us the power of audio switching for both radio and TV, and allow us to add more services than what we've ever even planned to do.
What are some of the considerations when you're doing a system, as even a lot of radio-only stations are doing, that also now has to handle audio for video, and to be able to do that, what are some of the things you might not have had to think about in a radio-only environment?
Well, the very first thing, of course, if you're transporting any kind of media across a network, is a very good, solid network with a good, solid response, and probably you want to isolate that network if you're carrying content. The second or third thing is probably reliability, is making sure that you've got somebody on staff that can handle that, or somebody available to really help configure your network and make sure it is reliable. And then a little system planning and thinking ahead about where you might want to go with your system. As the world of technology is changing, many things are now becoming network and IP involved.
So, Kent, one of the interesting things about the stations that you run is I know every time I get to read the legal ID on them is that there are stations spread out in Ithaca and Southern Tier and the Finger Lakes. How are you working now with WheatNet to try to integrate audio amongst all these far-flung locations?
Well, Scott, when we first started with radio, there was only two stations there. There was WXXI FM and WXXI AM. Well, now we've grown to a group of 7, soon to be 7 stations. So our needs have changed dramatically in the past few years, even though when we purchased the Wheatstone system back 9 years ago, 10 years ago, it was the largest system, one of the largest systems they'd ever produced. Now there's been quite a few more. So we needed to expand the capabilities of the Wheatstone bridge system, and doing so is we're using the newer technology, using the WheatNet. It's going to empower us to do some things, like to bring on, instead of having multiple platforms running INCO, it allows us to do a INCO 1 implementation. And it becomes much more simple for us to manage as far as network, much more simple to manage as far as computer frames and chassis and software. So that's one of the big things. The other piece is it gives us a lot more I/O, and as we migrate away from AES and analog inputs, which we really have some more analog inputs, it makes it more flexible. Overall, the Wheatstone systems work really well for us because as radio and TV, we utilize, some studios are both. So we'll produce a show for radio, but air it on TV with some small remote-controlled cameras. Conversely, the other thing is possible, and we actually have right next to the technical director, they have their own rollout G3 console for mixing things that they might want to do as we're doing a live show for radio. So mixing the TV portion of that. So we've used it, found it very flexible, and it's been a very good investment for us.
So you're looking now at all kinds of devices on a network that wouldn't have been at one point.
Oh, of course. With the expansion now of the standard of the 222 for video transport, that's becoming very, very popular. And as the next 2 or 3 years for production, it's very possible you'd see audio and video and everything running through an IP connection, a single IP connection.
I want to talk to you also about the other end, and particularly out on the TV side, because you've been involved in trying to figure out TV spectrum repack. It was a big topic at PBS TechCon here recently. Where does that all stand right now?
Oh, we won't know for a while yet. It's still up in the air. There's a lot of vendors that are talking about some possibilities of some implementation technology to allow the migration, the channel changing to be done a little bit more smoother, such as very wideband panel antennas, and with different patterns that would actually serve to accommodate your existing pattern. So there's a lot of things going on there, a lot of discussion about how much power it's going to take for the ATSC3. A lot of things are not totally understood because it's a different way of measuring power. Your RMS value is not going to be the same as what it was with ATSC1. So all these things fit together to make it kind of complicated, and it's not all figured out yet.
And you don't know what channel you end up on yet?
No. In fact, I guess probably the next big step is for the FCC to release their spectrum packing challenge as far as how much spectrum they're planning on taking. That's going to tell us pretty much the outsider can look in and say, this is how much spectrum we're going to need in the market. I'm hoping that's what happens. It's been delayed a little bit, so we'll see what happens. But, the auction's going to happen, it looks like.
And
hang on.
Then everybody's got to deal with finding tower crews, making sure their towers are up to the task, and you at least have a tower that's recently rebuilt.
That's true. I understand that some of the construction crews are now bringing in more winches, more training, more crew, more certifications of climbers. So it's going to be a big deal. And if they're going to be as busy as it sounds like, I'm really concerned about the bringing new untrained crews on. I know they've got to be trained, but minimized training is going to be a bad thing. It's going to take some senior people in there knowing what they're doing and really doing it. So with the hurry up, it may in fact be a slowdown.
One piece of good news that I've just heard from the FCC is that at least they will be releasing auction money early, and they're saying broadcasters can actually start applying for that now to start dealing with some of these planning costs, even if they don't know exactly what it's going to entail.
And we're hearing from vendors that it's going to be very involved getting reimbursed.
Okay.
So they're trying to streamline as much as they can and try to get some of the pricing done early on. But it's going to be a long road to figure all this out, and it's going to be tedious because you make a mistake somewhere along the line, and it could be involving your organization for years.
Indeed. Kent Hatfield from WXXI in Rochester, thanks so much for being with us.
Scott, it's been a pleasure.